So the last videos I've been recording with the audio of my Logitech Brio, so the microphone of the Logitech Brio, but that was not a great success. So I've decided I had to buy a new microphone. After some research I found the YETI X from Blue. It was it apparently is one of the best USB microphones out there. So yeah, I thought I need to have that. And then I saw there was a special World of Warcraft edition of this microphone, and since I am kind of a long time fan of that game, I decided to buy this one. I'm quite curious as to how it will perform. First, let's unbox it. There's an entire inner box apparently. For which I need my knife again. So what I did notice after ordering the microphone is that Blue apparently is a sub-company, a daughter company of Logitech, and I am kind of a shill for Logitech, so I was very pleased to see that the Blue microphone also works with the Logitech G Hub. Is encased in enough foam. So this is the actual microphone. As you can see, it is well, just like the pictures. On the bottom there is a special threaded hole. I'm not really into the microphone world, so I don't know exactly, but I've seen this thread before, and I'm assuming that this is a standard in the microphone world. There is an audio output, an output jack, so you can connect your own headphones, and there's the USB. It's a micro USB connection. I think that's a bit sad, since this is a very newly released microphone, so I think they should have gone with the USB-C connection. It is actually all metal. There's no plastic. Yeah, this little border is plastic, but this is all metal as far as I can feel, so it feels very sturdy. It has a pad on the bottom, so it will not slide everywhere. What the World of Warcraft edition has these, I think they're quite beautifully done. These runes all across the foot, and the same runes. We cannot see them right now, but there are LEDs with the same runes. You can see them on the box, by the way. LEDs with the same runes around the, I want to say volume knob, but what I read on the website is that this knob can be configured. So it's a configurable button. You can press it, you can turn it. On the back side there is also a button. There's pattern on the bottom. I think that is the way the microphone will pick up sound. So it has multiple microphones, and the position in which it can pick up sound is configurable. I'm pretty pleased with how this looks and feels. It's very sturdy. This is also not a weak mesh. I can press it very tightly, it will not bend. And then there's of course the USB cable. Now, could have opened the bag the regular way, I guess. So yeah, I think this is it. We should just connect it and see how it performs. As you can see, I'm quite the shell of a Logitech. Basically everything on this desk is Logitech. From the mouse to the mouse pad, to the speakers, to the headset, to the keyboard, and even the webcam is Logitech. Hence, I was quite pleased to see that Blue is actually a sub-brand from Logitech and thus appears in the Logitech G Hub software. I can even link the functions for the Blue YETI X to the Logitech keyboard. So on my G switches I can set some voice morph, some settings, some presets for the microphone. I can even add some samples to play over my speakers. So when I, for example, press this, we hear a murloc. We hear thrall screaming. I really love that. So even when the microphone does not obviously scream Logitech, it still works with the same software. What I do find a small issue with this microphone, however, is its size, because as we can see, it is quite big and also quite heavy. The entire thing, including the stand, is about 1.5 kilograms. The microphone itself is a little over half a kilogram. So when you want to mount it to an arm, you need quite a strong arm. The microphone works best when it's right in front of you, and that's where the size kind of becomes a problem for me, because I don't really like playing or working like this. What would be best for me is just to have the microphone here in the corner, where it still works great, but this is where my room starts to work against me. Since the room is not very soundproof, so the voice starts to sound quite hollow, and the microphone is very good at filtering that out in close distance.
But then finally, how does it perform? Well, you can judge for yourself. From here on out, the sound of this video is recorded using the YETI X, in contrary to the first part that was recorded using the Logitech Brio built-in mics. Personally, I think it is a big improvement, but I'm no expert in sound or microphones. Like I said before, the YETI X performs notably better when the microphone is close to me than when it is farther away. It's no shocking news, but I still think it's a bit of a bummer, since we will be mainly using it for recording our videos, where it will be mounted to an arm that is out of the camera side. Well then, let's look a bit at the software features of the YETI X microphone. Do note that this is the special WoW edition, so some of the features we see here are exclusively for that version of the YETI X. Our first step is probably the most important one. It features all the main settings of the YETI X. Here we can, for example, set the polar pattern, which is the same as the physical button on the back of the microphone. There are 4 different patterns. We have cardioid, which means it will only listen to the person in front of the microphone. We have omni, so it will listen in all directions. If you use this, for example, in a conference call, everyone should be hearable. The image suggests that this mode allows for more distance between the speaker and microphone, but I will have to test that. We have bidirectional mode. This listens to the person in front and in the back of the microphone, like with an interview. And we have stereo mode. This uses the different microphones inside the YETI X to generate a stereo sound, so when I walk around the mic, you should be able to hear me from the direction I'm walking. Next up is the Blue voice filter, and this is probably where the power of Blue comes in. This allows you to clear up the sound with the equalizers and other cleanup options on the right. Here we can adjust the low, middle and high tones that are picked up by the microphone. You can also adjust the frequency the microphone starts picking sound up. This way you can filter out low sounds like a road nearby or an air conditioner. Under this signal cleanup, we find a lot more advanced options for noise reduction and filtering out annoying sounds. Brief summary: noise reduction works pretty much like noise cancelling in your headset, so it filters away continuous sounds. A gate: this is the minimum level at which sound is picked up. I guess it's similar to the input gain, but I'm not sure. The compressor: what this does is it will kind of level out the sounds a bit, So people listening to you should not have to adjust their volume whenever you start to speak louder or softer. There's a de-esser. This removes high frequencies for hissing or sibilant sounds. There's the depopper. This is basically a software version of the foam hood that all those news channels have around their microphone. Finally, there's the limiter. This reduces loud sounds, which generally makes it more comfortable to listen to. If you don't know much about audio, Blue has got you covered as well. On the left, you will find a list of different presets to choose from. As you can see, we choose the crisp and warm preset since we found it sounded the best in our situation. But do absolutely experiment with it yourself. The effects tab allows us to morph our voice. This is also where a lot of the World of Warcraft options are, as Blue added a lot of presets to mimic Warcraft voices or areas. I do remember that my first Logitech G930 headset had the same voice morphing features, but at some point they were removed because of licensing issues, I guess. These voice morphs can also be added to your Logitech G switches, which can be fun to use when gaming with friends, I guess. Using these morphs I can make myself sound like a robot
or a demon, for example.
I am, however, a bit disappointed in them since I have seen much better solutions using AI, but it's a fun feature to have. On the second tab we find the sampler options. This is where you find a wide range of Warcraft sounds and lines to play over your speaker. These can also be linked to your Logitech G switches as I showed before. Again, a fun little feature, but I doubt we will be using it much. So let's see, what do we have for example? We have Jaina, which screams, "Oh."
For the Alliance! I have no quarrel with you.
Or we have Sylvanas.
What are we if not slaves to this torment? Why should the Banshee Queen spare your miserable life?
That kind of stuff. Then up to the next tab, Lightning, because you cannot have a gaming product without adjustable RGB. And here you can modify the color of each and every LED in your microphone. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this any further. The final tab contains some equalizers for the 3.5mm jack you find at the bottom of the microphone. I haven't used it yet, but it's possible to tweak all kinds of things for the headphones output of the YETI X. Personally, I prefer the sound of my speaker set, but I know a lot of people actually prefer headphones as it blocks out a lot of the noise around you, so I guess this is a nice thing to have as well. So that is pretty much all I have to say about the Blue YETI X. I expect you will hear a lot of its recordings in the future, and maybe we will tweak the settings in time when we have more experience with it. But so far I'm pretty pleased with its performance. Now, should you buy this thing? Honestly, I don't know. This video was not sponsored or anything, so I don't have to sell this microphone to you. I think it sounds pretty great, but I can imagine that its specs and feature set are mainly interesting for streamers and such. And then I think if you would be using for streaming, 150 to 200 euros for a microphone is probably a bit expensive. That being said, I'm personally very happy with this thing. I think it will improve the quality of our videos drastically, and if I find a non-ugly way to soundproof the office and workshop a bit, it might actually be a great solution to our sound problems. So, if you like this video, press that like button, smash that like button,
Destroy that like button.
If you want to see more of this content, please subscribe to the channel. It would be a huge help. And as always, see ya!